And gotta go to Metropolis to continue this. I'll do that in a little bit. Yeah, hi. I know this isn't the... I take this off for the moment. I know this isn't the normal look for this show because, you know, we've got the camera set up on it, but the camera's fine. I just wanted to do this a little bit differently this time because the thing is that I had an epiphany the other night while I was live streaming, so I figured what a better place to actually do this show than right here, where it happened, right on the live stream. So in order to really explain where I'm coming from, I should probably get out the rocking chair. Alright, so this is my rig when I'm live streaming, so let me kind of show you guys around over here. Right over here is the main screen. This is the actual star of the show. That's Spirit. He's been the character I've been playing in DCUO quite a bit lately. But since that's the big star, they get the big billing over there. Way over there, you see a clock over there. That kind of gives people a perspective of what time it is for me locally, so I like to leave that on there. I'm going to turn that off in just a second. Of course, you got the Facebook plug in there as well. And then there's this screen, the camera. I don't always run with the camera on. For some reason, people like actually looking at the gamer's face. I don't get exactly why. But it was here, in this setup, in this rig, that I had a moment the other night of, wow, this is incredibly awesome. In order to really understand where that comes from, you got to go way far back, at least by modern standards anyway. Those lyrics sound kind of hokey, don't they? Well, let's be fair. It's the opening credits to an old PBS show called Big Blue Marble that aired in the 1970s. So why am I showing you this? What's so important about this? Well, in order to understand the epiphany, you gotta kind of understand the era that kind of spawned it, and that was my childhood in the 70s. Most people think of Saturday Night Fever when you talk about the 70s, but the reality, not so much. I'm just going to kind of narrow the focus here on media and entertainment because that's what's important for this particular show. Alright, realistically, there were 4 stations broadcasting television, and if you didn't like what was on any given point, you're out of luck. Media companies had a lock on what we were going to watch, and they abused it.
Most exciting superhero in the entire world. At last, he comes alive for his most incredible adventure.
Quite badly. It was lack of choice like this that made us culturally shallow for the most part. And this might sound condescending, but a lot of you kids today can't fathom a world without smartphones, let alone no cell phones or no internet, no VCRs, no home gaming platforms. By today's standards, this is a media void. The other thing that plays into all this is that the world really wasn't connected in the 70s. Now, sure, we had TV news broadcasts that showed us what was going on, but that was about it. And if you wanted to broadcast for yourself, well, it was going to be impossible to break onto the airwaves short of getting yourself a ham radio. For the most part, we really did not have a scale of the world. Because of the lack of real communication, we all pretty much kept local. I mean, if you want to play a game with friends, you went over to their house with a backpack full of cartridges and made an afternoon of it. But it was just your neighborhood. You really didn't know people outside your neighborhood, let alone outside your state, let alone outside your country. So that's why shows like Big Blue Marble still have a soft spot in the heart of people of my generation. They sent film crews all around the world to film kids being kids, and it gave kind of a sense of the rest of the world to us at the time, but only barely. They also encouraged people to write in and become pen pals with other kids in other places. Analog pen and paper. How quaint. Yeah, I suppose that we've come a long way since... Okay, I'm really not getting any closer to explaining this whole epiphany thing. Okay, let's fast forward. Let's go around to the 1980s when I started really getting interested in mass media. One of the things they really hammered home to us in our classes was how to fit in with all the other mass media outlets, because you had to be in with them in order to get on the air, and besides, broadcasting on your own, that was like the realm of cyberpunk.
The radiation count is way up, and the heat wave ain't expected to let up either.
As I said before, the price of admission to get on the airwaves, pretty steep, but that really didn't stop people from dreaming about doing it, or in some cases actually doing it.
32 minutes past midnight Sunday morning, HBO viewers east of the Mississippi suddenly had their movie, The Falcon and the Snowman, interrupted with this silent message printed over color bars. Good evening, HBO, from Captain Midnight.
Or if you really want to get particularly weird, there's always the Max Headroom incident.
Some dry clothes.
Because he's a freaking nerd. I think I'm gonna check Squircy.
The less said, the better. On a more legal approach, you could get into broadcasting if you knew someone, or you made the right connections, or such similar to thus. Even then, there really was no guarantee that you'd stay on the air. Radio, even to this day, is still the only job where you can be fired because they don't like the way you sound. Not even joking. This made broadcasting a pretty exclusive club. That song's a little too close to the bone. Now, what really changed everything was the internet. Well, not at first, actually, because we really didn't have that many powerful tools at our disposal. We didn't have video toasters, and we didn't have capture cards you could plug your VCR into, things like that. But once we did, that pretty much changed the face of everything. And it might sound a little cliche, but it changed mass media forever. And I'm not just talking about broadcasting. We're fast-forwarding a lot here, but when YouTube first came out, it was a novelty. Now it's pretty much the first stop people make for their media consumption. With these very rapid advances in technology, everyone on the planet is now a media outlet. You use your phone to record something, then you upload that to YouTube, and minutes later, the world can see it. We are all reporters, and YouTube is Network 23.
This is Edison Carter, answering the questions other people are afraid to ask.
We've also become dependent on the internet for our gaming fixes too. Yeah, sure, the old home consoles were kinda cool, but when you connect them together on the internet, they become something cooler. We play flash games, MMOs, we even get downloadable content for games that we purchase in stores, but here's where things take the "this is getting awesome" turn for me. We play games that are global. I've played racing games with people in Japan. I've fought the Lich King with Australians and battled crime with Latvians. As I'm live streaming, I routinely have people watching my show from all over the world. I mean, hell, one of the people that I talk to all the time lives in New Zealand, and occasionally we dance. I got another controller. Okay, but the point is that it's a global community. If you go to Twitch TV and scroll through the channels, you'll find Russians playing World of Tanks, Koreans playing League of Legends, Brazilians playing Dota. And these are not pro gamers. These are normal, everyday folks all over the world. And it was somewhere around here that I kind of suddenly had that "this is awesome" moment, because it suddenly dawned on me. I'm sitting here, middle of nowhere, and I'm broadcasting to the world. This is just mind-blowing, because in my youth, this was science fiction. Now it's just something you do on a Thursday. I don't know if I can even describe how just awe-inspiring this concept actually is. I mean, gaming used to be an individual thing. Just you, the TV, and the couch, and a bag of potato chips. But now, we've made it global. We've made it interactive. Case in point, I was doing some live casting at 3 o'clock in the morning one night. I couldn't sleep, it happens. And then a slight misfortune happened during it.
I got locked out.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I'll see how far I can go. Now what that means is that suddenly I'm doing a 2-player mission, solo. Yeah, no pressure. Okay, so I had a group of people in the chat room who were actually cheering me on. They wanted to see me succeed, and in a small scale, this was great television. And then when I finally did beat the final bad guy, the relief was very real, and the audience virtually applauded. It had all the trappings of a TV show with one key difference. The world could join in. I don't know if I can properly convey the level of pure awe when you suddenly realize that not even a generation ago, yeah, we had video games, but the only people who could watch you play were friends sitting on your couch. Now, it's everyone. From a small room in the middle of a frozen wasteland, I can not only play a game with people from around the world, but I can entertain them as well. It's both humbling and empowering when you actually sit back and think about it. Again, we are all broadcasters, and the world is watching. Technology has kicked down the doors and put the power of broadcasting as a medium into anyone's hands who wants to try it. The sci-fi cyberpunk fantasy has become reality, and that is mind-blowing. Now, conversely, it's also very humbling when somebody actually shows up into my live stream and watches me play, because, let's face it, there's a lot of different websites, hundreds of different channels, thousands of people watching, and people are going to come into my little stream and watch me play. It's actually an honor when they do. So for everybody who's ever done that, I thank you guys very deeply. And if you haven't done that, well, hang on, let me show you guys this. There you go. There's the link. Come check us out. We go in the evenings-ish. Don't really have a schedule yet, but if there's enough of a demand, we'll make a schedule. The other thing you can possibly try to do, too, is try live streaming for yourself. It's actually horrifically easy to do, and if your computer can handle it, it's a lot of fun to do. Well, actually, there might be a show in that someday. Well, I'm here at the Judge, and I'm kind of waiting to see if anybody wants to do a group thing, so I'll catch you guys next time. LFG! Okay, so national anthem. Hendrix is a little dated. How about Satriani? Cool? Cool. Good night, everyone.